Hey guys, it's Rafael. Hola amigos, Rafael. Here we have the Raging Hulk, sculpted by Troy McDevitt. I hope I pronounced that right. Lo esculpió, ni sé cómo decirlo, pero anyways, lo hizo Troy McDevitt. It's a very nice piece. It's big. It's very lightweight, and that's logic because if this was solid, it would be super heavy. Just too heavy. So, you have the legs, then las piernas, they're lightweight. Same with the arms, the pelvis area, also lightweight. Todo esto está liviano. The head feels solid. Body, also lightweight. The base is very heavy. It's a heavy one, and this is solid. Eso está sólido y está pesado. So to put this together, we'll probably need to put some screws to hold this in place because it's a tough one. Eso se tendrá que usar tal vez tornillos para tenerlo. Now, so we're gonna learn how to put this guy together. Vamos a aprender cómo ponerlo todo junto y pintarlo and paint it. We'll see what we come up with. Now this has not a smooth texture. No tiene la piel, ¿cómo se dice? Suave. It has a lot of. I want to describe it more like muscle. To me, it's almost like it doesn't have the skin over the muscle area. So all these things look like muscle, bare muscle to me. So the client wants it as organic, kind of give it an organic look, which is a little bit more difficult to achieve since you have all these little ridges, but we'll do our best that we can. El cliente quiere que se vea un poquito más orgánico la piel. Es un poco difícil hacer eso por todas estas rayitas que tiene, porque se ven para mí un poco como si fuera el músculo sin piel. So anyway, so let's get going, let's get started. Vamos a hacerlo and see what happens. Now these, this came with a pretty nice fit, So you can use 5-minute epoxy. Pueden usar el pegamento de 5 minutos. So it'd be perfect. And then when you add the putty, ya cuando se le ponga la pasta to blend this out, that reinforces it. So it would be a nice, tough hold. Same with the arms. Igual con los hombros. O los brazos, digo. It's also a pretty good fit. A little wobbly, but that's okay. So you can still also use 5-minute epoxy in this area. This one looks like it's going to need a lot of epoxy, epoxy putty to blend this out and make it look natural. Este sí va a necesitar bastante pasta para las áreas estas. Pero de nuevo, pueden usar el 5 minutos de pegamento. 5-minute epoxy. I did have the big ones, but I'm running out. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it together with resin. With a 5-minute epoxy, sure, you put it in, great. You wait 5-10 minutes, actually about 10 minutes for it nice and be solid. But I'm going to do the resin the way I did the other Hulk Lou Ferrigno one. There's not much room here for a lot of resin, but I'm just going to test it out to see if it will hold just as well. Yo voy a usar la resina para pegar esto. No hay tanto lugar, pero vamos a ponerle algo para ver qué tal bien pega. But it's a real nice fit. So I'm going to use, Smooth Cast 300. Voy a usar esta resina A and B, equal amounts, las partes iguales. Nice and sturdy, la resina resultó muy bien. So the resin was very good and was actually faster than 5-minute epoxy or whatever glue you use. So again, this guy's huge. So now we gotta get the base. We're gonna start adding the putty. Vamos a empezar a poner la pasta para que esté listo para pintar. Okay, so here's the base. Again, very solid, muy sólido. And you can't just glue this. No se puede nada más pegar. Necesita algo más fuerte para que tornillos. You need like screws on this sucker. Okay, so I marked it. Ya le marqué. The best part is the thick areas right here. This is a little bit too thin, so when I tighten them, don't want to tighten too much because you don't want to break this. No hay que apretarle tanto aquí porque así está más delgado que aquí. So this is the best support right here. But you know, it's the best we can do. So I'm going to add 4 screws. Voy a poner 4 tornillos. Ya le marqué aquí. Marqué aquí. I marked it here, but I can't get the drill through here, so it's I'm going to drill through this side. Okay, there it is, nice and sturdy. That is not going anywhere. Macizo. Okay, so once this was on there good, where it should be, this doesn't fit perfectly. No cabe exactamente como debe ser. It's off on this one at least. I don't know about the other ones that people are making. But this one, having this where it goes, exactamente donde va, that's off there. So which is better? Make that hole back there bigger or this one? I think I'm going to go with this one. I'm going to open this up more so it goes in easier and add putty to that side. Okay, I'm now putting the putty. Estoy poniendo la pasta. Equal amounts as always. And with water, y con agua, you smooth it out. Okay, so now we're going to start adding putty and making this look natural. Vamos a empezar a poner la pasta para que esto ya se empiece a ponerse natural. Make sure you get it inside, que esté bien adentro. Push it in, apachurrarlo hasta adentro, to fill it up, para llenar el hueco. And you create the texture. Y empiezan a crear la textura como aquí. So you start doing, you know, your lines, and if you notice, there's a vein, hay una vena right here. So you have to create that as well. Now in my other videos, when I do a casting of or a mold of teeth or whatnot to get a copy, I normally build a wall and then fill it up with either alginate or silicone to get the mold. I'm going to do something different here. Voy a hacer algo diferente aquí, que normalmente le pongo plastilina alrededor y lo lleno con silicona para agarrar el molde de los dientes. What I'm going to do is mix up the rebound 25, which is what I'm going to use this time. Right here, esto es lo que voy a usar, part A and part B. And I'm actually going, it's the same amount, equal amounts. Voy a usar este silicón, partes iguales. Pero voy a mezclarle un color adentro, una tinta, y eso ayuda a que como que se ponga más espeso. I'm going to add some color into it, which I found that it tends to get thick, so it's brushable. I know there's other stuff there you can make it thick, but I don't have that. Le voy a poner la tinta y se pone más grueso, entonces puede poner con una brocha en vez de ponerle en la pared. Hay otro material que se puede usar para hacerlo así, pero no lo tengo. Now this rebound 25 is brushable. That's what it's about. But you know, you have to do the first layer and then it just, you know, seeps all through the mold and all that, or your subject there. But you have to give it like, you know, four coats or 5 brushes. But we don't want to do that. Yeah, I mean, if I were to pour on here this would work if I brush it, but then it'll start going everywhere. Se puede poner con brocha así como está, para eso es esto. Pero al ponerlo se va por todos lados. So we're just going to add the tint, and this is just your So Strong tint, and you know, it tints it, but it makes it thicker. Se pone de color, pero lo hace, se pone más grueso la cosa. As you can see, it's thicker, and it doesn't just go everywhere. Ya se puso grueso y no se va por todos lados. Alright, so there it is. Ahí está. We'll just let this dry overnight because it's raining right now, so it's going to take longer to dry. Está lloviendo, así que va a tardar más para secarse esto. Hasta mañana lo vemos. So tomorrow we'll probably add just in case, a plaster bandage over here just to keep the form. Tal vez le pondremos después de esto, cuando se seque, una tela de yeso para que mantenga la forma. Okay, I was going to put plaster bandages here. Le iba a poner una tela de yeso aquí para soportar, bueno, apoyar la forma, to give it support. But this is nice and thick, and it's keeping its form, so no need to do that. Está bastante grueso y se mantiene donde debe estar, así que no es necesario eso. So vamos a quitarlo. Okay, here it is. Ahí está. Okay, so right now we are going to do the teeth. Vamos a hacer los dientes. This statue doesn't have really much gums. Casi no tiene encías, just very little bit right here. So we don't worry about that yet. No vamos a preocuparnos de eso ahorita. We're just going to create these individual teeth and molars. Vamos a hacer los dientes nada más. Then we'll worry about the pink part. Luego nos preocupamos de la encía. Then when that's dry, we'll turn it around and we'll do these bottom teeth with the tongue. Y luego hacemos la parte de abajo con la lengua. So what I'm using is jet liquid. Esto es lo que estoy usando. Líquido para la resina de acrílico. And this stuff here. I use number 65. Uso el número 65. A little bit more, I guess, natural color or yellowish, I guess you could say. Okay, so here they are. Ya están duros, nice and hard. Now we're just going to sand this down. Vamos a lijar todo esto, so we can put them back in there and then do the gums. Vamos a lijar esto para ponerlos ahí y hacer las encías. And we are going to do the gums. Vamos a hacer las encías with this pink acrylic resin and using the same liquid. Now normally I would do one side first so it doesn't drip everywhere. Era para hacer un lado primero para que no estuviera chorreando por todos lados. But as it's getting thicker, mientras se pone más grueso, you kind of build it. But it's messy. But yeah, you could have done just one side first. Okay, so here it is, nice and hard. Yeah, se puso duro. Take it out. Y aquí están. Now the tricky part is to make sure they fit in the mouth. So we're going to grind all this off. Vamos a quitarle todo esto y lo voy a hacer que entren en la boca. Okay, so here they are. Aquí está. So now the tricky part comes next. Ahora lo más difícil.